Mahmood al-Durrah, also known as our loved and our favorite Dad Cycle Durrah. Previously on this podcast known as an extremely transparent and once 212 Olympian, but has now just recently won a classic show 8 years later. He is now the first Arab to become a classic and a 212 champion.
You know, my son asking me, he's 14 now, and he was very young when I was competing. Dad, are you gonna compete again?
Let's go, Dad!
Telling him about how you're coaching yourself, which is another mind-blowing thing to me.
Yeah, because I did approach 2 coaches, and they're like, yeah, no, you can't do classic.
They're like, you don't have the shape for it.
Yeah. The last 10 days specifically before Toronto Pro, I stopped test completely, and I switched to 300 milligrams in the last week. I was 2 pounds over my weight cap, so I didn't eat anything for almost 24 hours. I've changed my attitude 2 days ago. I will train hamstrings every 3rd day and quads every 3rd day. I won't train upper body, except maybe back once a week. So
Yeah.
I've learned a trick for me that after I'm posing, and then after I breathe in, the next pose is side chest. So what I do is, I do like that, immediately showing my triceps, but I'm hiding my midsection. I know I said on the Dave interview, and I told you I didn't really expect to win, like I really didn't. I've had a dream a week before Alabama that I was looking at the scorecards and I saw my name in first place. 400 milligrams of test and 400 milligrams of primobolan. We're in the gym, we're doing shoulders, and I just look at him like, are you feeling anything? And he's like, not really. I'm like, bro, let's fucking bump this shit up, man. Let's do 750. I went to 750. I switched the primobolan to equipoise at 400, and then I added anadrol for 4 weeks at 50 milligrams a day.
Oh my God.
I was comparing my blood work to Alex Eubank, and my blood work was actually better than his, which is why I kind of called him out. Greg Doucette said, either he's not on TRT or I'm...
What were the things that you did personally to focus on shrinking your waist? Bro, but that's fucking crazy. You fucking won,
I
dude.
know, man. That's nuts, isn't it?
It's nuts. Congratulations.
Thanks.
How do you feel?
I didn't... Bro, you have no idea. Like, we'll discuss that in the podcast, because I want to save the
We
enthusiasm.
are in the podcast. We're in it.
We're live?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're live. We're talking real.
I thought there was going to be like a, all right, guys, whatever.
Yeah, you know I always start it.
All right. No, fuck yeah, man.
I'm
I mean,
mean
this
like
whole
that.
thing started as, you know, my son asking me, hey, Dad, like he's 14 now. So he was like, Dad, are you going to compete again? And I was like, no, I'm done with that. And he was like, oh, that sucks. And I'm like, why do you ask? Like, he's never shown interest in bodybuilding. But again, he was very young when I was competing, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, why? He's like, well, I'm older now, and I just, I really wanted to see you on stage so I can show my friends that, what you do and stuff. And I just wanted to see you in person. When he said that, I was like, oh, fuck, bro. I'm like almost 40 years old.
Dude.
I've been off for like 4 years. I got the whole back surgery thing. Like, and I don't want to even go back on like high levels of gear.
Yeah.
And I called my dad, and I was like, your grandson wants me to compete again. And he was like, so fucking do it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do much gear, blah, blah, blah. My dad knows this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, well, aren't you like already, on a cycle? I'm like, yeah, but I'm like
cycle.
I'm on a dad cycle. I'm on the dad cycle. So he's like, well, like you look pretty big. Like I see your pictures on social media. He's like, why don't you just try dieting and training hard? Because he knows like I was training, like, bro, I'd go to the gym and I'd honestly be on my phone 40 minutes out of the 90 minutes. Piss poor workouts.
Wow. Didn't expect that from you.
Yeah. So then I hooked up with a very old training partner that I used to train with. And I was like, bro, and he competes as an amateur. So I was like, bro, I'm thinking of competing again. So why don't, we find a show where we're both competing at the same time, and, we train for it. He's like, yeah, cool. His show was in was 2 weeks before mine. I chose Toronto Pro. I was like, all right, that's a good show. Shouldn't be that much difficult. And I started prepping like 4 months before the show, like around February. And I was like, I'll switch to classic, even though classic I think is more difficult, but it requires less, well, I don't know, for me at least. I think probably most of the classic guys are juicing as much as the open. But I think for me, given, genetics and already, I'm kind of big, I was like, I'll just keep the dad cycle. I'll train very hard and I'll diet and just see how my body reacts. Mm-hmm. My body started reacting really well. Like I started changing very fast.
Do you think that's just because you've been off high cycles for so long?
Could be. Well, no, because I was still doing the same cycle. I prepped for all this with 625 milligrams of test a week.
And you were on what, 500 before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not much of a change.
Yeah, maybe I increased my GH a little bit from like 3 units to 5. And I added a few fat burners. I added T3 and Clen. That's it.
And you didn't do anything else in there? You didn't add like Winstrol or
No. I don't want to mess with my cholesterol. I don't want to mess with anything. And like my blood work was good. I even did a video on my English YouTube channel where I was comparing my blood work to Alex Eubank. Mm-hmm. Alex Eubanks. Guys, you should go watch that video. It's pretty cool. And my blood work was actually better than his, which is why I kind of called him out and like, you're not on TRT. So Greg Doucette.
You're not on just TRT. Yeah.
Greg Doucette said either he's not on TRT or I'm like 1% genetics, where it's like the cycle that I'm doing isn't affecting me. So I didn't want to do anything else. The only thing that I did do, because I don't like lying about this stuff, I switched to Masteron. Like I stopped test completely. And I switched to 300 milligrams of Masteron the last week. So I actually even lowered my cycle the last 10 days specifically before Toronto Pro. And then after Toronto Pro, I just stayed on 300 milligrams of Masteron until Alabama Pro.
What?
Yeah, bro, that's it.
How the fuck did you stay on Masteron and no test without just wanting to kill yourself?
So after seeing how I looked in Toronto, first of all, I didn't even think I was going to get top 5. And in my head, I'm like, if I place 10th, it's not humiliating, and I'm doing it for my son, and he's going to come with me, and it's just, fun, and that's all that there is, just going to have a good time. And as a joke, like on my YouTube, I was like, guys, if I place top 5, I'll do another show. Mm-hmm. And then I placed 5th. And I was like, holy fuck, what the fuck just happened? And bro, Toronto Pro was a fucking tough lineup. Mm-hmm. So I looked at the pictures and I was like, okay, I'm carrying I'm very sharp, I'm very dry, but I think like I'm carrying a little bit of water around my waist. Let me drop tests completely and switch to Masteron to harden up my physique even more. Because that's the only thing I'll be able to play with is just getting sharper. And I also dropped GH a week before Alabama Pro.
Okay.
So I was on nothing except Masteron, T3, and Clenbuterol.
And, okay. All right. I want to go back to this first because we're diving pretty deep, pretty fast. And I feel like I got a fuck ton of questions all of a sudden.
Okay. Let's go.
First off, I just want to say, all right, this is blowing my mind right now because I'm just like, bro, we know you as like the real ass motherfucking dad cycle Durrah, and now you were telling me that you just won this show off of like 100 or 300 milligrams of Masteron and some shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But don't you, dude? I don't know if you remember this, but literally, I was listening to our last pod. And our last pod, we were literally saying at 1 hour and 12 minutes in, I was like, I want to see you size down and shrink your waist and go classic. And you were like thinking like, dude, I think I want to see myself do that too. And like film it while I do it. We were literally saying that in the last pod we had. We were literally planning out.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, dude, we can literally like, anyone in the audience who's curious, you can like go to an hour and 12 minutes in the last pod. And I was literally saying, we were literally planning out together because someone had a question in the Q&A about you potentially going to Classic. And we were literally planning out and devising your plan to go Classic.
That's crazy.
And now you're going to the fucking Olympia.
I know. Yeah, that's wild. Even I'm in disbelief.
I saw your interview on RX Muscle too. It was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, because he asked, he saw this coming, and I was like, no. I didn't.
Yeah, and then you were just like, you were telling him about how you're coaching yourself, which is another like mind-blowing thing to me.
Yeah, because I did approach two coaches.
Because you reached out to two coaches.
And they're like, right? Yeah, no, you can't do Classic.
They're like, you don't have the shape for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they said that. I don't have the shape for it.
And then he was like, well, you won, so.
Yeah, like something's there, you know?
Oh, that's fucking sick. I want to know who these coaches are. Drop the names, bro.
No. 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 I'm not. Yeah, I will never speak ill about anyone. So, I mean, that did happen, but I don't.
Except for Alex Eubanks.
I mean, Alex Eubanks, it's, I don't know him personally, right?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing around. But,
he's not on TRT, but anyways.
I feel like probably like 10% of people actually believe he's probably just on TRT, but you know, I don't know.
He's on the dad side.
If I was him, I would probably do TRT and then like add like another like 100 milligrams maybe.
No, he's on the dad cycle.
Kicks, you know?
He's on the dad cycle.
The dad cycle.
He's on the dad. 500 tests and 5 units of GH.
Okay, all right. Well, since we're talking about your cycle anyways, okay, first off, I'm a little bit mind blown, but I guess I want to address my question first. Did you not feel like absolute dog shit from like no aromatization, from literally just crashing your estrogen on Masteron without test? Like, I understand in the beginning, you know, your test is wearing off, so you probably don't feel the effects within the first week, maybe the second, but like by the time you're at Alabama, I feel like you just, I don't know, bones are dry, hot
not
flashes,
only
you want
that,
to kill yourself.
I'm gonna even tell you that I was using Aromacin the whole time.
What?
Yeah. I didn't want any estrogen in my body, but at the same time, my body always retains a little bit, like obviously less than the range, but still enough to like keep me going. I personally did not feel like shit. I didn't. I think the biggest problem I had with this prep was the sleep. That was my biggest problem. I was okay with the diet, and I was, again, like coaching myself. I was eating 1,800 calories a day because I didn't even want to eat too much food. Like, I don't want to go back to those fucking bodybuilding habits. Like, I was fully done with all this shit, you know?
Yeah. Plus you had to size down a little bit anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm not the type that goes flat. Like, even back then, it's very difficult for me to go fully flat. But this time I really wanted to. So, and I had to make weight. So 1,800 calories was working well for me. Obviously, the last few weeks, I was getting a little hungrier when I increased my cardio. But I didn't really feel like shit. It was only the sleep that was killing me. Like no sleep at all. But my doctor for the last, so 1 week before Toronto, and then I took a break for 4 days, and then the 10 days leading up to Alabama, I was on Valium, but only 5 milligrams a night, which is the lowest dose.
Valium is fire though.
Yeah, that really helped me sleep.
Shit's gas.
Yeah, and then every time before the weigh-ins, what really killed that I would say really killed me was that I had to make weight. So I remember waking up the night, like the morning of my flight, and I was 2 pounds over my weight cap.
And what was that? What number?
187.
Okay.
I was like, fuck. So I didn't eat anything for almost 24 hours. Like no food. That was bad. Like at the airport, I was like dragging my feet. I was just like so sleepy, lethargic, like just no energy to even push my bags.
Yeah.
And that was the only bad part. But the second, and I finally flattened out after doing that.
Nice.
And then I weighed myself. I was 3 pounds under the weight limit.
Damn.
Yeah.
How did you dry yourself out?
Oh, what's that?
How did you dry yourself out? Did you use any diuretics, or was it purely water manipulation?
I just stopped eating.
Okay. What about water?
I was sipping a little bit, not
Sipping
much.
a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Compared to how much do you usually?
I don't drink a lot of water a day. I drink about 2 to 3 liters.
Okay.
So maybe I drank like 1 liter that day.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Okay.
So yeah, by the time I arrived with all the walking and all that stuff through the airport and all that, I was like 3 pounds under. And in Toronto, I had 2 days to carb up, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But then in Alabama, my weigh-ins was at 4. But what was different in Alabama was that I was at my weight before the flight. Like before the night of the flight, I was at my weight. So I knew I was going to sleep. I was going to wake up a little bit under. So I started carving up at the airport. I remember my first meal. It's in the vlog that I posted on my channel. Mm-hmm. I posted the whole journey, start to finish. And the carb up, the first meal was at the airport.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had 1 day to carb up, but it was like perfect. I carved up with like barely any protein and dry carbs. So like white rice, honey mustard sauce, and frosted flakes. Like
nice.
The cereal. Yeah.
Let's
tons
go.
of like half the big box, half of it. And what else? And caramelized rice cakes.
Fire. Those are gas.
I think I had like at least 800 grams of carbs that day.
Yeah. I would, if I was to make a choice, if I was to coach myself, I'd probably prep. I'd probably carb up with hardly any protein too. Sometimes I feel like some of the coaches put a little bit
so the protein slows down the digesting.
Right.
And it's like, it's almost useless. Like, you're not going to build muscle a day before your show.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want anything that kind of slows the carb absorption down. But this only works if you're flat.
Mm-hmm.
And most people aren't, to be honest. Most people are not that dry. I was French fried crispy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've talked about this a little bit, but it's like whenever you're, the less compounds, the less food, the less everything that you're feeding yourself, everything that you're putting into your body, if you're going into a prep, just to suck it down, normally the more stringy you get, right? I mean, there's some exceptions if you're like pushing it way too hard and then I think trying to fill back out too fast. Like maybe like Ramon, there's some exceptions where like the peak just gets more and more risky, I think. But
when if
you're doing something like
you,
but if you're doing something like you or like Larry Wheels or like, I don't know, what I've seen is it's like if you see those really, really advanced professional natural bodybuilders like in the WNBF World Championships, you normally see more detail on their muscle bellies than, you know, us PED dudes, especially the open bodybuilders.
Do we though? I don't really watch much of them, so I won't really know.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who I talked about this last with, if it was Wesley Vissers or who, but basically like, you know, as you fill out more and more, as you take more PEDs in general,
you definitely hold more water.
You hold more water in the muscle, right?
Yeah.
But as that muscle expands, it's like, dude, think about a balloon. Well, I guess think about like something.
There will always be subcutaneous water when you're holding water. And it will always be there. It will always be there between like the brachialis and the biceps, the fibers in your chest, the glutes.
Yeah.
It'll always be there. So sometimes if you're really looking to gain that crispy look, it's one of the reasons why I dropped Test and GH. Test still holds water.
Yeah.
And I just wanted as little as possible in my system of anything that can hold water. Plus I was taking the Aromasin to like fully just destroy my estrogen.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's fucking nuts, bro. I still don't know how you didn't. Still don't know how you didn't fucking want to kill yourself on literally negative estrogen.
No, bro, it was fine. And like I gotta admit, man, like this prep was was like honestly the most comfortable.
Most comfortable, crazy.
Most comfortable, bro. Even though I was like trying to make weight and everything, but the whole process, I think, was just way more comfortable. I don't know if it's like other coaches and their extreme measures, because like other coaches, they're thinking, I want to do anything so my client wins, so I can promote my business.
Yeah.
And you don't really have much of a say. And then if you're not doing what the coach says, there's that psychological aspect where you feel you're not doing what you're supposed to. And believe it or not, that will translate onto your body. Your negative thoughts will manifest itself and you will look worse. And it could be because of the cortisol, could be because of your stress levels going up. This time, bro, I had no one to report to except the mirror and the pictures. I'd make the decisions. I'd be like, no, I'm not eating that. And I test with cheat meals. So I'd have a cheat meal once a week. And then someday, I remember 2 weeks before the show, I decided to have a cheat day just to see how that would look the next day. So like fucking junk food the whole day. And then worst thing ever, right? I woke up 8 pounds heavier. And I was like, fuck, what the fuck did I do? Shit. And then, but again, like, I'm accountable. I'm the one who made that decision. And like, now I know. So fucking that day, 0 carbs, back to 30 minutes cardio instead of 20 minutes of stair. And I did that for, and I did that for like 2-3 days and the weight went down again. But it felt good because it's like, those are my decisions. And I am seeing the results live and I'm getting to know more than I already do how my body reacts to what. Like, if, let's say I was with a coach, I'd be like, I want to try having a full cheat meal a day. He'd be like, fuck no, bro, you crazy?
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, like, I wanted to try different things. And there were some times where instead of having a cheat meal, I would have like a high carb clean day. You know, and I just didn't like the result after, or the result for me wasn't really worth not having a cheat. I was like, no, fuck that. I gotta have my Big Mac. I'm having my fucking Big Mac. It's not that much of a difference. I'll keep the Big Mac.
That's fucking awesome. Damn. Wow. And then here I am with fucking P-Tor. Wants me to eat fucking straight egg white rice protein.
Yeah, you don't need to fucking do that, bro. Fucking crazy. This is crazy shit, man. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, man. I can tell you that. But I have the Ninja Creamy, though, so it makes things a little bit easier. Whenever I get a protein shake, I just make a little ice cream out of it instead.
Or the yogurt. The yogurt's good, too.
The yogurt? What yogurt?
So I do this thing where if I'm having cravings, I have 0% Greek yogurt. And then what I do is I add stevia.
Okay.
And then I add hazelnut droplets that you're supposed to use in coffee. And then you mix that. Okay. And then when you do, and then you eat the Greek yogurt, I want you to think of me and pray good things for me. Because that will be the best shit you'll ever have with very little calories.
Okay. All right. I'll try that out. I need to get myself some lactose-free Greek yogurt, though.
Yeah. Lactose-free, high protein, Greek yogurt, 0% fat, no carbs. You just add stevia and the droplets, the hazelnut droplets, and you mix it very well. It's going to be a little bit less thick. And oh my God, tastes amazing.
That's the shit I used to do in college all the time.
And it's like 1 cup and 3/4 is like 100 calories and high protein.
Okay. So, all right. I guess just so I feel like the audience is going to have a lot of questions from this cycle and the shit that we talked about in the beginning. So I think just for the sake of them and diving into it deeper, have you always felt like you were like a high aromatizer, or like that you didn't require, like you didn't really have problems with low estrogen?
Medium.
A medium aromatizer. Okay.
Medium.
So have you ever felt like you had estriol, like low estriol symptoms or problems in the past?
No.
Okay. Even if your coaches in the past would like slam AIs, like peak week right before the show, drop your test and everything, you wouldn't really feel any issues?
No. No one ever dropped my test. I'm the first one to drop my test. All my previous coaches, we ran tests. We ran fucking everything till the end of the show. Like I would have to shoot extra of all the compounds before my flight.
Damn, bro. Honestly, considering how like crisp you looked in some of your 212 pictures back then, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, can you imagine if I didn't do that shit?
Yeah. I'm curious how much you would have flattened out, though, I guess. How much you feel like you would have lost in size.
I don't think so. I probably look better because I think, bro, I was like 30 or 31 years old.
Mm-hmm. I still bet you would have lost like a little bit of size, though, and knowing like 212. Knowing bodybuilding, they do prioritize size over conditioning and aesthetics than classic.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah.
But for classic, I totally agree with you. Like, this is something that I wanted to do for my own classic shows too, but I'm not even in the place where I can afford to. I still have a lot of muscle to gain. But I do feel like kind of like the thing that Chris Pump said had to shrink down a bit for his weight cap as well. And I just feel like that
when he did that switch, he gained like 15 pounds for the open.
Oh, that was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 15 or was it like 8 or something? I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know. He placed seconds to Fritzwater.
To Fitzwater, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick. Yeah, well. So what did you do on your off-season-ish, I guess, leading up to starting prep for the show?
I had no off-season.
You didn't have an off-season?
There was no off-season.
You doing the 500 test, training like
there
you were
was 500 tests for summer to look good on Instagram.
Nice.
There was that. There was nothing else. There was 3 units of GH or 2 units of GH so I could eat my Big Macs and not get fat. And then when my son told me like he wanted to see me compete, that's when I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. So I gotta diet right away, I guess, and see what happens.
How did your son react?
I'll send you the clip and you can post it. It went viral. It went viral on Instagram.
No way, really? How did I not see this? That's crazy.
You didn't see when I went up on stage and then you hear a kid in the audience yelling, "Go, Dad!"
Oh fuck!
I'll send it to you. Post it in the beginning of the video.
Okay. All right. Yeah, editors, if you listen to this, if you could help me do that.
Yeah, like open the video with that clip. It'll get a shit ton of views.
That's fucking sick. How does he feel right now? Your son just like, is he proud?
Bro, you'll see it. Like, yeah, you'll see it, bro. Like he very, very happy, very proud. And it's honestly good for him too to have a lesson in always, always going for it. I wouldn't even say believing in your dream because I really didn't think I'm gonna see the Olympia stage ever again.
Yeah.
But I still went for it. Regardless of how defeated I felt as a guy who's almost 40, changing divisions, having to shrink my waist, having to change my structure. I stopped training chest completely because that was giving me a very off look towards bodybuilding, and my genetics and chest just like it fucking explodes. I stopped training chest, practicing vacuum. I did legs every 3rd day to balance the physique. I had to practice a new way to pose. And then I'm going against guys who are in their 20s and early 30s, and I'm fucking close to 40. I haven't competed in so many years.
Yeah, who was the guy who got second place to you again?
Huh?
I don't remember. Who was the guy who got second place to you when you won your Olympia qualification?
It was Tom.
Yeah, the dude with the big ass chest and massive lats, right?
Yeah, massive lats. Or that third? Very strong V taper. And yeah, like I knew him.
That guy's physique is nuts, bro.
Yeah,
I've seen him compete in a bunch of shows, and I always think he's gonna win, and he doesn't. Which blows my mind.
He placed second 3 times.
That sucks.
So even in my head, I was like, "Yeah, no way, I'm beating these guys," So, but I still, I really felt defeated, going back and competing. But I just went for it. Like I really gave it everything.
Like
I gave it
defeated before the first show this season.
just defeated as a honestly, bro, defeated as a human being. Like my social media was going down. I'm, kind of washed off. Like I'm, every career kind of has its peak.
Yeah.
I felt like I was past my prime, way past my prime. And I'm just like holding on to crumbs, trying to post my Ferrari and like get views with that. And just like, this whole thing honestly really felt like divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a few dreams like before this whole thing happened, and I went on Chat GPT and I was like, interpret these dreams for me. And I had it interpreted in all three major religions, like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, and as well as Native American and Chinese culture. And they all said the same thing, that these dreams are interpreted as me going through a purification and a rebirth. And it's really funny because before going to Alabama, I usually shave all my my beard off before the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my barber, just to fuck around and we're laughing, he left the stash. And then I looked in the mirror and then I looked at him, and first of all, I didn't recognize myself. Like I really looked very different.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "We're fucking keeping this." and it really felt like, it really did feel like a rebirth, like just all over again. I've never looked this good. Well, maybe in 212, but I still feel like I brought a dryer package on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
And this time I'm very motivated for the Olympia. Like I know I'm gonna get smoked. I know I'm probably gonna get last call out. But I'm still very motivated to do it. The first time I did Olympia, it was my 5th show in a span of 1 year. I was going through personal problems with my girl back then, and it was just so unmotivating. And I remember the feeling, it was just like, let me just get this over with, film a couple of fucking vlogs for my YouTube so I could just go home and stop. Like I was done. Mm-hmm. And it was sad because like you dream of going to the Olympia your whole life, but then the first time, like, it's almost like I didn't even want to do it. I was so tired. This time, bro, fuck. I was training, like I went back legs Monday morning. Monday morning legs and fucking motivated as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like I really feel like God is giving me a second chance. Like let's start this whole thing all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a beautiful thing, that drive in a man and a man's mental health, to be honest. Something that I feel like we all feel this, honestly, in different times of our life. But I mean, like sometimes you're driven and sometimes you go, and sometimes you just have one of those periods where you're just like, dude, I feel like I don't have anything in me. Like,
I was really feeling that, bro. Like I felt buried.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then you realize you weren't buried. God was just planting you in a better soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm branding this convo that we're having right now in me right now, because I'm gonna need to remind myself of this later, to be honest.
Yeah, man, you'd be surprised how God works in mysterious ways.
Mm-hmm.
Really, because like I'm telling you, bro, I really felt defeated. Like I thought I'm done, and like just like that, overnight, God was like, "Nope, all over again. You're in your prime, right now. Here we go."
That's fucking sick, man. I feel like it's also such a great example, though. Like I keep worrying myself, and like I know it's silly for me to even say this. Like I'm still in my 20s, but I think, I started on social media, right? Like I always loved bodybuilding since I was a kid, and I started competing when I was 20. Before
like my 21st birthday, my girlfriend at the time, her gift was this big box of like Peak Week snacks and like
Okay.
supplies. Like I got a birthday cake flavored protein bar and like all this shit. That was like my 21st birthday. So I didn't end up drinking until, I don't know if it was like when I was 22 or something. And then I went a little crazy again. But bodybuilding was always such a big passion before I even had any like followers. But how I grew was just social media being shredded and shit. And it had nothing to do with me competing. And now I'm like this age so many years later, and there's kids that are 10 years younger than me that are popping off on social media now.
Yeah,
all my
I
engagement
see
is
him.
dog
Yeah,
shit.
man.
Which, and it happens. Like anyone that goes into social media, I can promise you, if you're doing something right now, like if you are growing, but you are working every week to the point where you feel like you're hardly getting any sleep and you don't have free time, that's not going to last. It normally ends up burning out. And the best way is to find a sustainable start that you know you can keep doing, because if you can't keep doing it, the audience that views your stuff that's expecting the same rate is going to start to drop off when you start to drop off.
And I think the key is consistency.
The key is consistency from the beginning. From
the beginning. So find something that you're able to do every day.
That's so fucking hard, bro, because in order for people to make it these days, they got to give everything they got in the beginning. Like they're like, no, like fucking less free time. Like I'm focusing all on this content. Like I'm focusing all on this grind. Think of Sam Sulek, who literally posted every single training day, even some of his rest days.
Yeah.
Every single time, a whole YouTube video. And people were just like, how the fuck is he going to upkeep this? But bro kept doing it, man. But like, that's him, you know? Like I would not be able to do that. I can't post a video every freaking YouTube
Well, it's kind of like Greg Doucette posting 2 videos a day. I can't do that. I can't
do that either. It's crazy, bro. I can't even hire the people to do that right now. Like I barely fucking hired a shorts guy.
Yeah.
And and he's doing an okay job. But anyways, I get that feeling. So it's like coming back to bodybuilding now, it's almost like, damn, I'm looking at some of these guys that are not that much older than me. Chris Bumstead, who already retired.
But you have to see it from a different perspective. So like, let's take a guy like Chris Bumstead, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's what, 30 years old now? 31? I don't know.
30, I think. I think he's 30.
Okay, 30. You've done everything in life. At 30. You've done it. You've finished it. You have finished life. You found the love of your life. You have children. You're a multimillionaire. You're set for life financially. You can buy and do anything you want. And this is the like the romantic and the materialistic part, which is like the 2 biggest things. But then you have on the passion side, you've also finished that. So you've also finished your mission as a man, and your purpose of winning the Olympia 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
At 30, you have finished everything. You finished the game, and you've done the side quests. What do you do now? I personally think that it is not as good as what it seems from the outside. Because even at one point, a couple of years ago, I was making 6 figures a month. I think that was 2021. I was making 6 figures a month. Bro, that shit gets weird. Like, okay, I've done the Olympia. I don't want to do it again. I'm making a shit ton of money. All right, I bought myself a Lambo. I bought myself a big house. Okay, what do I do now? Go on a bunch of dates. And you just get really bored. So and this is like on a way smaller scale than Chris. This is this guy who's like finished everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So where do you go from there? Where do you get your dopamine from?
Yeah. This is something I hate to say what I'm about to say, because I also understand the other place where, you know, I've been in a position where I haven't had any money before, and I know there's a lot of people out there that literally just want to be able to have a living to get by. So
yeah, I know.
That is
the
first, for sure. That is always going to be first. But when it comes to mental health of celebrities or people that have achieved so much and all these things, I'm trying to remember the doctor that was just having this conversation. But,
it was, I think, didn't Will Smith say something very similar to what Jim Carrey said as well? to what Matthew Perry, who passed away, said. They all said the same thing, where there's like the top peak is exactly the same as the bottom peak. Where when you have everything, fame and money and fortune, like everything, they all said it's almost as bad as having nothing at all. Because there is nothing, you need to feel something. When you're really poor and when you're really down and when you're really broken, the pain comes from you want to feel some kind of anything. You just want to feel good. You want to feel any kind of like good news, anything, you know, that gives you a little bit of spark. When you're really up there and you felt already everything, you're still in the same place where there's nothing to feel anymore. You've already slept with 1,000 different women. You've already, you know, I have all the fame in the world. I think that the next chapter in that, which I think is what Chris is on, is basically family and interpersonal relationships and human connection.
Been training for over 15 years now, and I was too lazy to track anything training wise for about the first 10 years because science-based training's for pussies. But I kept hitting plateaus from burnout, fatigue, joint issues, and injuries, and other factors that at the time I didn't really fully understand, realizing not everyone is built to handle the intense and same workload and injury resilience as Tom Platz and Ronnie Coleman, sad face. I wanted to speed run that shit, but the reality is dudes that have always known their body best are the ones that have been lifting for at least a decade. Shit takes a long ass time to figure out. I started tracking all my training on the Notes app on iPhone because I don't know what paper is. Until recently, I started using the RP Hypertrophy app. The RP Hypertrophy app spoon feeds you step-by-step workouts tailored towards whatever your focus is, or you can customize the workout yourself. Well-educated coaches have always cost $250 to $500 or more a month. I'm paying $500. That's like 10 bottles of testosterone. But if you're not competing or you don't have the money to spend, the app will adjust your program for you every week to maximize your long-term growth. It'll base this on your pump, how fatigued you feel, how your joints feel, and more. It takes in everything to account. None of which I took into account in college because the only accounting I did was counting how many dumpies were in my class. Look, there's a titty. If you don't believe in science-based training, you don't got to do no 3 RIR shit. You can just hoist heavy steel. And track it, because we all know that the people who say that they remember their weights, sets, and reps every week are full of shit. IMO, there's a sort of middle ground where you track your progress and make sure all the variables are right in your food, sleep, gear, progressive overload, and then you go to the gym and slam those heavy PRs until your blood pressure is higher than Miley Cyrus. If you're still unsure, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you still don't like it and it gives you a bad tan, you can get your money back. That way, when you compete at your next show, your tan doesn't cost you the first place that you so well deserve. So go to the link in the description below, or you go to rpstrength.com/Nile and use code Nile at checkout. That's rpstrength.com/Nile, code Nile at checkout. If we're not referencing resources, then and we're just discussing mental state and how you feel, not considering like your health and what money is required to upkeep that, then yeah, I would say it's about the same, because what we feel is either the rise, whether we're progressing, whether there's dopamine there, or the fall, where it's receding and we don't feel that and it's getting bad.
But health is number one at the end of the day, regardless of anything.
Yeah, health is number one at the end of the day. So, but like you were saying, I think, all right, so what I was referencing earlier is that doctor is a therapist for, he's been this amazing mental health therapist, and also, man, I hope that's right, therapist and doctor focusing on brain health for over the last 40 years with hundreds of clients, many that are famous, many celebrities as well. So he does probably
a
good work.
Scientist in psychiatry.
And he stated that all his clients, I think it was Chris Williamson who asked him, if you wanted to tell the world anything that they don't know about celebrities,
what would it be?
Your clients, what would it be? And he said that many celebrities tend to have the least dopamine because they've kind of already spent it all, I guess. Yeah. And it's a bit relative from your previous states.
I said exactly
so it requires
that.
some kind of adaptation.
I said exactly that in my contest vlog. After, when I was having got dressed and went to dinner, and I'm eating my meal, like my break from the diet meal, I felt peak happiness. And I said, no Ferrari or house or income has ever compared to this feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The materialistic stuff gives you dopamine that lasts maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. You do renovations in your home. Okay, you buy yourself another few months. You change your car. Okay, you buy yourself another 2 months. But then it's the same feeling. Like if I replace my car with a better one, I'm gonna feel the same thing that I felt when I got the car the first time. But it's the duration of that feeling is actually gonna be less, and it's gonna continue to be less and less and less and less. So let's say if I become a billionaire, and I buy my dream car, a LaFerrari, which is $5 million, I'm gonna feel the excitement the first 2-3 months, and that's it. And then I will not get any dopamine anymore from cars. And then that's when you go to the next thing, which is why I have that thing back there.
What does this say?
That's a simulator. That's a racing simulator. Like, oh no, not the light. Talking about the rig over there.
Yeah, you're telling me about the racing. Last podcast.
Because I love cars, and I was like, oh, I can't keep changing cars. Like that feeling isn't doing it anymore. So then I took that passion into actual racing, and bro, I got more fun out of this than driving the real car, because I'm racing with other people online. Fucking, we're talking, you're swearing, you're getting angry. There's all kinds of emotions. Just passing someone on the last lap. Passing someone on the last lap gives me more dopamine than taking my car to downtown and everyone's like taking pictures. I get more dopamine and adrenaline on the last lap live, where the scores actually matter because it increases your license score to be able to drive other races. Passing that guy in that corner is just like dopamine shoots up, adrenaline. I'm like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I'd say the closure, to just close out and conclude this, though, I think something that I always like try to keep in mind for myself, and I feel like could potentially help a lot of other people, is that in the end, like, there is no like happiness is a weird measurement, and I feel like the thing that really gives us the most stability, and I don't know if the word is joy, but is content? Like finding content, I guess. Finding that state of peace, right?
Peace, it's content, being content.
And as a man, though, however, I think, peace can be a little bit difficult to find throughout our journey, because there's almost like this consistent drive that needs to be there in order to survive until we're, I don't know, retired, the age of 70, testosterone drops. And during this period of time, it's like what brings us a lot of joy is work, is
purpose,
is growing and protecting our family, what we have. And I think that's just something that we focus on. And then we also focus on, hopefully at some point it just clicks in when we're old enough, and it's like, okay, we're good. Now we can just have peace and just like freaking go on walks with our old ass 70-year-old spouse and dog or something. Whatever it is. Yeah. So
find the joy in the little things.
Right. That, and then the other thing I was going to mention is community. Also, I think community. Yeah,
community and a sense of belonging.
Right, which is what I love about the bodybuilding industry and just being in it. Is it's so much fun to be able to talk about this shit that we love with each other, with podcasts, with the audience. It's cool.
And imagine if you're 70 and you're feeling alone, you go to your community and you all go on a dad cycle.
Yeah. I'll take you up on that in 50 years.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when you started prep, I remember we were discussing like trying to shrink your waist and shrink your entire body down. What were the things that you did personally to focus on shrinking your waist?
I just did a lot of vacuum posing. That's it.
Okay.
I kept my calories low, so my food was low.
Yeah, that definitely helps a lot for sure too.
Over time, like your stomach shrinks.
Yeah.
And I try and avoid anything that makes me gassy.
Okay, what does?
So fucking ice cream, bro, that I love. You know? But like even when I cheated, even when I cheated, I can, my body can handle chocolate, like chocolate bars, Snickers, and Kit Kats and things like that. And I'd have a digestive enzyme, but I noticed even with a digestive enzyme, my body does not handle ice cream. Like it takes me fucking hours to digest that shit. Like it just fucking lasts in there 4 or 5 hours and it's not going. Yeah. So one of the things that I did was like I had to cut anything that kind of kept me full for a long time.
That makes a lot of sense. And you did not experiment with like retatrutide, tirzepatide, or any of these GLPs?
It's funny you say that. I was thinking of doing that now because like my craving is just out of this world. Yeah. But so far today was the first day that I've had everything under control. I've had my basic breakfast. I didn't have anything extra. Didn't have any protein bars extra. I had my post-workout shake with no carbs. I'm going to have a regular meal now. And I think I'm slowly getting it under control because now I'm very motivated to the Olympia. And I want to do really well. I think the thing that I'm going to do different for my waist is I'm actually going to start wearing a waist trainer alongside with morning cardio for 1 hour. So I have to buy a treadmill this week that I'm going to put in my bedroom. The second I wake up, I put the waist trainer on, I hop on the treadmill, I do 1 hour, and then I'll keep the waist trainer on throughout the whole day. And the goal for the waist trainer is not as what most people think, where it's like compressing your organs. What it really does is it gives a dependence of your abdominal muscles for the waist trainer. So what happens, or what you're really looking for, is muscle atrophy in your obliques and in your midsection. And that's exactly my goal. That's what I want to do.
I did not. The waist trainer doesn't act on the same muscles that are required for you to vacuum?
Well, the waist trainer basically makes your abdominal muscles kind of rely on it. So you stop using it as much. And then you try and atrophy your obliques.
Okay.
The vacuum is like something, it's kind of different. You're not building your muscle. I think what you're doing is you're controlling its ability to contract at a further depth.
Yeah.
So you and again with the vacuum, like it takes practice because you have to hold your breath, right?
Yeah.
So like I remember when I started doing vacuums this season, and I've never done that for 212, but when I started doing it for classic, I couldn't hold that shit for more than like 8 seconds.
8 seconds is probably better than me, bro.
Yeah, but then by the end of the prep before the show, I was like doing 15 seconds, 20 seconds, holding my breath, not breathing, and staying like
20 seconds is nuts.
I'd say yeah. If I really if I focus, I can hold it for 20 seconds, maybe 15.
Like the kind of like hands on your knees type shit, like
no. I'm talking front double biceps with a vacuum.
20 seconds. That's fucking insane.
15. Let's say 15. I don't want to exaggerate. I'd say 15.
Okay.
But then I'd have to learn how am I going to breathe out? Because after the 15 seconds, I'm just like, fuck. And then I'm like, and then the stomach just kind of pops out. So yeah. I've learned a trick for me that after like I'm posing, and then after I breathe in, the next pose is side chest. So what I do is I do like that, immediately showing my triceps, but I'm hiding my midsection.
Okay.
And then I take a breather, and then I pose the side chest. So my transition hides my breathing out.
Is that for your routine only?
No, that's for the posing and prejudging and everything.
Wait, so
we have front double biceps first.
And then right after that is side chest.
Fucking vacuum for as long as you can. And then
so
side
you just
chest.
hold it.
So I'm like that. And then side chest, I immediately go like fucking show my lats, flex my triceps, and then adjust my midsection. Like I breathe out, but my arm is hiding my distension.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then in the side chest, I'm able to
That's
breathe a
sick.
little bit in the side chest, and then the back double biceps, I just fucking throw my
Let it
stomach
out.
out. I'm just like trying to catch as much air as possible
Yeah.
for the abdominal and thighs that's after.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
So I had to
Nice.
practice all that, and I had to come up with techniques like, oh, what am I going to do on stage? I can't hold that shit that long. I'm not used to this, so I had to come up with different strategies.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I saved that in my notes so I can copy that and practice that for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
How many calories were you consuming in the beginning of the prep?
1,000. Beginning of the prep, so I went as low as 1,750, and I would say that was my average the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I started off maybe 2,000. No, you know what? No, because I remember I got into it right away. I got into the diet plan right away. I created a diet plan for me, and I stuck with the same shit the whole time.
The same shit.
Same shit the whole time, bro.
You never adjusted it. You never made it
The only
lower.
thing I adjusted was increasing my protein and lowering my carbs.
Okay, gotcha.
And people who say it only matter, your macros only matter, that is very wrong information.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because protein burns more calories to digest.
Mm-hmm.
So when you lower your carbs and increase your protein, okay, fine, your calories are the same, but you will burn more calories because protein's thermogenic effect on the body, it takes more energy to burn.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I did, but I was stable at 1,800 the whole time.
That's insane. I'm surprised you were able to do that low the entire time.
I didn't,
fucking socks
bro.
off.
Like worst case scenario, I'd have another extra 150 calories from yogurt, the yogurt mix, and I also have this trick where I do decaf coffee, and I make it taste really good. Like I use certain syrups that I found on Amazon, and I have like 2 decafs aside from my main cup of coffee in the morning. And bro, they're so good. They taste like fucking, like an actual drink that you're getting at some Starbucks or something.
I'm gonna start doing that. My girl's a coffee. My girl's a coffee connoisseur.
Yeah. So with the drink is basically you get a 0 like a 5 calorie creamer. I usually do the Coffee Mate. It has 10 calories. I do that, and I use a certain syrup that I found on Amazon. I'll send you a picture of it. And I do the hazelnut drops too. So I add a lot of sweeteners in there.
Yeah.
But
sorry. But you what?
Oh, that's it. I just add a lot of sweeteners in there, and it tastes fucking amazing. And it's filling too.
Did you ever have high carb days at all? Like high carb days for your leg days? Because you wanted to keep
I just have my cheat meal day.
Okay.
And I have one cheat meal, and on that day, I will increase my carbs a little bit.
Okay. Is that your leg day?
It's Saturday. Whatever. I try and make it leg day.
Okay. Yeah.
And if it's not leg day, I'll do legs the day before, like at least before it or the same day.
All right, gotcha. Just food for thought, because you're already doing amazing, of course, but I know you said you wanted to bring up your legs as well, to fix your to even improve your proportions further. Yeah. What Patrick is doing with me right now is it's an insane carb cycle because I'm fucking starving on the days that aren't high now. But my leg days twice a week are 550 grams of carbs, and then my rest days are 130 carbs, and then 45 minutes of cardio, and my normal training days are about 200, but it's like up here and then it fucking drops to like a quarter, right? Quarter to a third. And what I've noticed though is like my upper body has flanned out, but my legs have stayed really full and they look big. And it's crazy because I've never ever seen it to where I almost feel like my proportions are like, I almost feel like my legs are bigger.
That's a good thing, and I'll tell you why it's a good thing.
Rather than what it used to be in the opposite. My legs used to be way smaller.
It's a good thing because in classic, even in bodybuilding, you get to pump your upper body backstage.
Yeah, but not your legs.
You can't pump your legs.
Nope.
And I've learned that, so that it's funny because in Toronto Pro, I barely pumped my upper body. Like literally 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I've done maybe 4 sets.
What was that?
I did push-ups twice, and I did rear delts twice, and 1 set of tricep extensions. That's it. Didn't even pump my biceps.
Your screen disappeared, by the way, for a second.
Oh. Okay.
No, we're good.
Yeah. So I didn't even.
Why was that?
Why was that?
Yeah. Why did you only pump up for 5 minutes?
I didn't have time. They just came and announced.
Okay.
Classic.
Typical.
I was like, what the fuck? Really? I just asked you like 5 minutes ago. You said I have 30 minutes. So in Alabama, I stopped training upper body 2 days before Toronto Pro. But then after Toronto Pro, I didn't train upper body at all. I just did legs every second day.
Crazy.
Believe it or not, every third day. Believe it or not, I felt like my legs did improve. Because like all the food that I ate for 2 days all went to my legs.
It's legs.
My upper body flattened a little bit. But then backstage at Alabama, I fucking pumped for like fucking 40 minutes.
That's insane.
Full workout.
Did the blood not leave?
Full workout. And what?
How did you retain that pump for so long? Normally I feel like it goes away.
No, so you have to have rice cakes, not the caramelized ones, the regular rice cakes. You can't put the caramelized ones. You can put those. You can use those, but you have to add peanut butter.
Okay.
On either rice cakes. So that's the trick.
Slower.
So when you had your last meal of carbing, like let's say 3 hours before stage time, you don't have any other meals. What you have is rice cakes. Like every 30 minutes, you'd have 1 or 2, and you add peanut butter. The peanut butter really slows down the digestion of the carbs, and that's what keeps you full.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess, man, insane. And you said you didn't do any diuretics at all either show this time.
I didn't do leading up to the show, no. What I did was I took half a diazide after prejudging with a cheat meal.
Okay.
Half a diazide, that's it. No, I didn't take any diuretics the night before or the morning of.
I feel like I feel like I would do it after prejudging as well. I always get so much watery in the finals. Every day. Just my body always gets way more watery.
Half a diazide, but you have to eat right after prejudging with the diazide.
Okay.
And
what happens?
Big meal.
Yeah? How come?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Fills you up and at the same time keeps you full. So the fat from the, like I'd have 5 guys, the fat slows down the digestion. The carbs are very high, like fucking fries and ketchup, so much ketchup. So it refeeds all that posing and all that pump and everything. And the refeed will make you retain water. But you have to do it, otherwise you're going to flatten out. So you're in a position where less like it's gonna go bad either way. You're either gonna flatten out after prejudging if you don't eat, or you're going to spill. So you take the spilling route, but then you have your first diuretic, which is half a diazide with that meal. Now the diazide takes a few hours to peak. So that's why you want to do it right after prejudging. You will probably be on stage at around 5 hours later after prejudging.
Okay.
The diazide will start to peak 3 to 4 hours later. So it synchronizes almost perfectly.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. A little bit of the gear, because I know some of the people want to ask about this too. Because I think the cycle is just so fucking surprising coming from Dad Cycle Durrah, who just told us all of his biggest, craziest cycles of the last few podcasts.
Yeah.
That is kind of mind blowing. I got to give you the benefit, or give him the benefit of the doubt, because I know for a fact what Larry Wheels did too is something he had to do to fucking shrink weight, because he had to lose like 50 pounds in the beginning and he still couldn't make weight. If I fucking take more Masteron, if I take more Winstrol, if I take more Halotestin, if I take more Tren, normally gets me a little bit heavier. When I came off that shit right after my show, I shrunk down 3 pounds. I also flanned out but then I also became more, I got more detail in my glutes. And I remember, what's his name? On Fuad's podcast way back though, Guy Cisternino was talking about, if you get bigger and you just get bigger and you get more full and everything, like when you're going like to 212 to open, for example, as your glutes get bigger, they tend to have less, the lines tend to be less pronounced.
I don't agree with that.
No, you don't think so? Why not?
No, I don't think so. Because if anything, I am trying to build my glutes more so the lines can show more.
I don't know if building them will show more lines. I think it's just conditioning, man. I think it's just drying and
exactly.
conditioning.
But if you have the same condition, bigger muscle, you will show more muscle fiber.
Oh, okay. Here, maybe I'm saying it wrong. So it's not necessarily just building the muscle makes less striation. It's filling out the muscle more with gear and carbs.
Okay, so that goes back to the first thing we discussed
like
prior,
if you're
which
trying
is
to
the
be
water.
open versus classic. Yeah. Because like open, you want to be as full as possible. You want to be as round, as big as possible. Classic, not so much. Classic is a little bit more tailored to conditioning at the moment. Look at Jose Ma. Like I bet if Jose Ma decided to be as full as possible on stage, he'd
look ridiculous.
You'd look fucking massive probably, but he wouldn't have all those insane lines he has everywhere.
Exactly.
As much as he does now. So, plus I don't know. It also just makes sense. Normally your extremities are the ones that kind of, get more toothpicky.
Yeah.
When you're not
my calves,
as filled.
for example.
My calves all the time too. Yeah. So I guess when you were on your cycle, you did 650 of tests throughout the entire time. Until you dropped it.
It was half an ml a day, for 5 times a week.
Okay. Of what type? Enanthate. Okay. Is there any reason why you chose 5 times a week for enanthate? Just for the hell of it?
I just wanted to split as much as possible.
Yeah.
Instead of taking like 2 shots and a half, I wanted to like small doses. Aromatase is less.
Yep. Yeah. I'm the same way. I inject every day regardless of what the compound is.
Yeah.
What about, I guess as you came closer to the show, when you were cutting down, you said the master on you didn't pop in until a week or 10 days before Toronto Pro, the first show, right?
10 days before Toronto Pro, yeah.
So there wasn't any other compound, any other anabolic steroid that you were using at all. It was just Clen and then T3 on top of the test?
Clen, T3 test, but when I dropped the test, I switched it to Masteron.
Wow. Fucking nuts.
The last 8 weeks I was using Proviron, and then I stopped using it when I started Masteron. I just felt it wasn't doing much except helping increase free test in my bloodstream.
Okay.
By attaching to the sex binding receptors.
Do you think, I guess just to try to make this make sense for me and the audience as well, because I believe this can be done. Like I've seen this whenever people need to shrink down, they just take less gear.
I've told people my older cycles, which are fucking ridiculous to even talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
If, just to play devil's advocate, there were some comments that were just like saying that was pretty standard, pretty
I
typical
saw that, but I think it was pretty
for
standard.
open bodybuilding. I'd say
it was pretty standard. That's the thing. The only problem is that the other guys lie. So then people think that the cycles I did were crazy. It's like, no, bro. Like you have any idea? You have no idea what the guys in 90s bodybuilding used to do, bro. They used to have 3 grams a test.
Yeah, 90s was the craziest for sure. Good old Chad Nichols cycles.
Yeah, 3 grams of tests. Just tests. So the cycles that I was running, bro, they're pretty standard. And even when I talk to guys now, that do even fucking amateur shows, bro, they're running over 1,000 milligrams a test. They're doing Tren, they're doing Winstrol, they're doing Masteron.
Yeah, a lot of the amateurs are doing the same amount as the pros right now.
Yeah, exactly. Knowledge. Yeah, it doesn't have to. A lot of the coaches
also just prescribe them the same. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in San Diego before I was even doing anything, I knew a few coaches that were prescribing clients some insane cycles for their first time, like the first time being with a coach. And I'd be like, it'd be blowing my mind because I'm like, okay, first off, you know that how they react is not how they would react if this was their fifth cycle. But
Exactly.
And then that's why I would see some of my homies going through a bunch of mental problems, a bunch of sleep problems, to the point where they just like quit after the show was over. They're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And in my head, I'm just like, well, I told them too, but I'm just like, I felt so mad because I wish that the coaches cared a little bit more about the client to tailor the program less cookie cutter to their experience level.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with a lot of coaches. They think that all their clients are going to react the same way to their protocols.
Yeah.
Or what worked with one client is going to work with this client.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had those conversations before where, you know, the coach would tell me we're doing this. And I'm like, I would say, I'm like, my body doesn't flatten out. Like, I don't need that much food, you know?
So how much weight were you at the beginning of the prep before you started cutting?
I think my all-time high was like 208, 210.
Okay. 208, 210. And you're about like 5'6.5"-ish?
Exactly that. Yeah. 5'6" and a half.
I was about to say, because I'm 5'7.5" and my weight cap is 197, 10 pounds above yours. So
yeah.
Your weight right 10 days before Toronto Pro, when you switched to compounds, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I do. It was 193.
193.
Yeah. And I was freaking out from that. Remember I told you I had a full cheat day?
Yeah.
It went to 197. And I was like, what the fuck?
And then after, was that the show that you said 2 days before?
I had to not eat.
You had to not eat, right? Because you were still 2
hours.
pounds over.
It was 24
like
hours.
189? Okay.
Yeah, I was 189. Actually, the night before, I was 190.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck, my weigh-ins is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I didn't have dinner. I did not have dinner. Slept, weighed myself, 189, 2 pounds still over. So I just continued not eating.
Oh shit! Yeah. What time did you go to weigh-ins?
So here's the thing. My flight was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
My weigh-ins was 4 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
So by the time I got to weigh-ins,
you're 185.
I was 3 pounds under. So I lost like 5 pounds throughout this whole thing.
Throughout the day. That's fucking sick.
I don't even know from where. Really. Mm-hmm. I can't answer that question. Okay. I'm just telling you the numbers that I saw. I don't know where those 5 pounds came from. Like, I was really surprised because, like, in my head, the morning I was 189, so I was gonna step on the scale like barely, and I even was so worried. I was thinking of telling the guy who was weighing me. I was like, bro, please, like, I'm right on the line, and he's just like, step on the scale, and I stepped on. Mm-hmm. I took all my clothes off except my boxers, and I stepped on the scale, and I was like 180, 183, 184. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh. And he just looked at me. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, never mind.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Do you follow Larry Wheels at all? Did you follow his journey when he was like first competing? No? Okay. Well, unless you guys are both lying, which I don't believe. I believe both of you guys. I feel like this makes sense because you guys both shrunk down to do the show, and probably coincidentally, you guys also happen to do about the exact same cycle. So
really, I didn't even know that. Yeah,
yeah. Like he was what, like he was like 290 pounds, and I think he had to get to 230 or 240 for his show. So he ended up having to shrink, and freaking Ryan Benson, Team Zero Gravity coach, put him on a TRT level of test. I don't know if that was 150 or 200 or whatever the fuck it was. T3 and probably maybe T4, and then Clen. And that's it. And then I think maybe some VAR in there too. So it was basically your exact cycle without the VAR.
Okay.
With less test. And it looks to me like, honestly, it sometimes, maybe it is a benefit to just try to grow above your show sometimes, as long as it's not too fucking insane. Like,
I mean,
I don't
now I'm
know.
thinking
I
a
don't
little
know, man.
differently
This
because,
is
like, fuck, I'm looking at the Olympian guys because, like, and I'm thinking, how the fuck are these guys making weight? Have you seen Mike Summerfield?
yeah, he fucking looks huge.
What the
You know how
fuck
tall he
is
is?
that, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. How tall do you think he is?
He's probably an inch and a half taller than me, 2 inches at most.
If he's taller than you, then I don't even understand how he's making weight either. He looks fucking massive, bro. I feel like he looks like the biggest guy on there by far.
I know
Bigger than
he
Terrence.
is. Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Not really sure either. Maybe it's just bone structure.
Maybe.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. But well, I guess whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what it is, but seeing some guys shrink down for the show though, whenever I do see them shrink down, it's kind of cool to watch that. It's just like you got that muscle mass, so at that point there's no point in you trying to fill out that muscle until after your weigh-in. And like most of these gear compounds you got to take before the weigh-in. You know, you can't just take one gear when fucking, I don't know if some people want to slam Anadrol like right after the weigh-in or something, but
yeah,
most
exactly.
people don't do that. People don't do that. Plus, I'm sure that would only create more risk into your peak anyways.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just like you can't take more gear, or else you risk not making the weigh-in, and then it just destroys the whole purpose of the entire
Yeah, for
prep.
sure.
So, wow, fucking sick. What were your food choices before we go to the Q&A? Out of curiosity,
Basic
I knew you
shit.
were a little bit. What is that?
It's just an energy.
Is that, what is it called? Total War or something?
Yeah, it's Total War.
Redcon?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What?
Is that who you're with right now? Isn't it?
That is awkward because I mean I signed with Raw 6 months back.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months ago. And I don't know if I should say this on this interview, but
Yeah, say it on this interview.
I'm trying to get back with Redcon 1.
Oh, you signed with Raw 6
Yeah.
months ago,
Yeah.
and now you want to go back with. Oh shit, that's crazy. How come? We don't have to tell them.
I'm never
They
gonna
won't watch
ever
this.
say anything negative or any, but it just worked that much better with Redcon 1. So I will talk very positively. First of all, I don't think there's any better pre-workout in the whole market.
Than Redcon,
The Total War. Yeah. And that's like a standard thing. Like,
except for
bro,
pump serum, huge supplements.
even but I mean, even
okay.
even my girl uses Redcon 1, and even when I was sponsored with my new company, I was like, "Oh, you try this," and she was like, "I like I like the pre-workout more."
Nice.
By Redcon 1. And
She got a big wagon.
Huh?
She got a big dump truck.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, sign me up. Give me your code. I'll give it to Lexi.
And they're also they're cheaper. Like they're much more. Redcon 1 is much more affordable, and it's crazy because the distributors in the Middle East had Redcon 1's isolate tested, and it was exactly what was on the label. So
like
even
purity wise, like
purity
100%
wise,
purity?
everything, the whole thing, they had it tested because they weren't convinced. Like, how are you getting the isolate not as expensive as all the other brands? So they had it tested, and to their surprise, the label was exactly what was on the box.
Wow.
So even all my clients were like, "Bro, like we want to keep using Redcon 1. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." Plus, I just got along. I got along with the whole team with Redcon 1 better.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm not stirring any drama or anything. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, as of now, I am not with Redcon 1. But I am trying to. I mean, I still use their pre-workouts. I still use a lot of their products. but I am trying to make that switch again. Now, I don't know by the time this interview is out if I'm going to be with Redcon 1 or not.
2 days from now. Huh? I'm just playing. It'll take longer. Yeah,
it'll be awkward, but yeah. So that's what's going on. Yeah.
Sorry, Ian. Hopefully none of you guys are listening to this podcast.
Who's Ian?
I'm just playing.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if Ian's actually with Raw or not. I would assume he is.
Valier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I mean, I don't know either. So that's what I mean. Like, there was no... I felt like it was just about Sebum.
Mm-hmm.
There was no one else kind of, just showing. Or, yeah. Like, I never collaborated with any of these guys. I don't know if they're even there. I don't, With Redcon 1, it was more like I was the longest athlete with Redcon 1. I lasted with them for 5 years. And it's
that's a long time.
Yeah, bro. I lasted
I don't think I've ever been with a company for 5 years.
Yeah, I was one of the longest. I am the longest person who was ever with Redcon 1.
Wow.
And bro, let me tell you, like, honestly, they treat their athletes so well. Amazing sense of community. The communication is very easy. They're very lenient with, like, let's say if you want to order extra products, like, they really take care of you. So
we might as well just make this a Redcon 1, fucking advertisement right now.
I mean, I'm praying to. I don't want to put that out there, but like, as of now, I reached out, and I was like, it's like you break up with a girl and then you realize you made a mistake. And it's like, hey, I'm kind of missing you, and just want to have a conversation. So that's exactly what's happening now.
Damn, fuck. Well, yeah. I hope you get it, bro. I'm happy for
thanks,
you.
Man. Yeah.
Plus, they better, because they better have the new classic Olympian on there. Otherwise, they're just taking
that. Yeah, that should be a good thing to rep.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say already.
We're about to jump into the Q&As.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You look so fucking shredded right now that your Adam's apple looks like it's a fucking knife.
Oh.
About to protrude out of your skin.
What do you think of that new look?
It's crazy, bro. You kind of look like
porn star?
Yes.
80s porn star?
An Arab 80s porn star, exactly. There was some comment on my freaking podcast on Daniel Fabod's episode with me. The comment was like, why do all your guests look like porn stars? I just had a bunch of the audience like replying like, so
in my defense,
all bodybuilders look like porn stars.
In my defense, I'm not copying anyone. It's an Arab thing.
Yeah.
Like, all Arab dads have mustaches.
All right, sure. Whatever, dude. In your defense, bro, no, I feel the same about I was listening to Fuad's podcast again. I always do. About a few months ago, and I don't remember if it was a recent one or an old one. It probably wasn't. No, I think it was an old one, man. I think it was like a year or 2 years back or something. And he was saying, because of Chris Bumstead, now he swears he's seeing all of these mullets and mustaches everywhere. And
I don't have a mullet.
Yeah, you don't have a mullet, but I did. I had a mullet and a mustache, and the thing is, I kind of got. I didn't do it because of. Well, I mean, I think Chris looks awesome with this shit. So first off, maybe it was subconsciously influenced by Chris, but I didn't do it because of Chris. It got famous before Chris. He just is always on the trends. He's always on the trends.
I think
he's always
so
on his
too,
content
bro.
trends.
It's so
he's always
weird
on his
when
everything.
someone's like,
so,
"Oh, you're copying this guy." It's like, bro, shut the fuck up, man.
The mustaches was from fucking the movie, bro.
Like, well, we can't use Maverick. Mustaches because classic competitors is using it. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'll do what I want.
I wonder if you would have said this before you got the mustache, before the barber shaved it.
Yeah, it wasn't even me. It was like the barber did it, and then we looked at each other, and he was like, "You gotta keep it. This looks very different and cool." And I was like, "Really?" Like, he's the one who actually convinced me. And then when I kept it, which I wasn't, like, I said, "I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna reevaluate this, and I just might shave it in the morning." But then I posted it on my story, and bro, all the fucking replies like, "Holy shit, that looks amazing on you. Nice stash." I got even a couple of chicks that were fucking telling me this looks really good on you. So like, oh, all right. Well, in that case, I'm definitely keeping that.
Good thing your girl's not going to listen to this podcast. All right. Questions. Niall asks, what did you eat during prep?
Oh, my food. Same thing, bro. So same thing for the whole time. Breakfast was 4 whole eggs, 2 pieces of toast. I would switch sometimes white, and sometimes whole wheat. And I would sometimes do a little bit of yogurt, but then by the end I would stop that, and then I have my coffee. That was my breakfast the whole time.
Okay.
I go to the gym after my first meal. My post-workout shake is 75 grams of whey isolate. And 10 grams of creatine.
Okay.
Meal number 3, always the same, 200 grams of white rice and 200 grams of extra lean ground beef or filet mignon.
Ooh. Yum.
Yeah. I have an Arabic guy close to me, a butcher, and he does all that shit for me.
Do you decide what... Do you just decide between those two based off of what you want to eat?
So I notice when I eat the filet mignon, I'm way fuller.
Because it has so much more fat than lean ground beef, than super lean ground beef. No?
Does it? I don't think so, bro.
Yeah.
Filet mignon, but it's like a very
especially
clean
compared
cut,
to like very lean ground beef, like the 93
the
or 97.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. So if I'm feeling like super extra hungry and flat, I would have the filet mignon. If it's like a normal okay day, I'd have the ground beef. And then meal number so that's 2, 3. Meal number 4 would be, at first it was 175 grams of white rice with 170 grams or 150 grams of chicken breast. But then by the last few weeks, I stopped the rice, and it would be just 170 grams of chicken with a little bit of the Greek yogurt mix with cucumber.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the last meal was another 75 grams of whey isolate.
Okay.
That's it. Every single day. That was the whole, that's it. There was nothing else.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Jacob Ramsey 00 asks, best advice you could give to younger guys in the sport using PEDs, 19 to 23 years old.
19 to 23 years old using PEDs. The best advice I would give is take things slow.
I was gonna say take as much as you can.
No, I mean, I don't think anything less than the dad cycle is useful.
All right.
Very honest, bro. Like, if
I gotta agree with you there, though.
If you go on a cycle and you're taking less than 500 milligrams of test, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't really see much of a result and experiment and kind of know what your body likes and what it doesn't like. So the best advice is first thing is take things slow. I do think that 500 milligrams of test is starting slow. Start with 1 compound for like the first 8 weeks. Add another compound 8 weeks later, such as Anavar. See how your body reacts to that. And then make it a long cycle. Don't fucking do 12 weeks. If you're going to start cycling, make use of your first cycle. Go 20 weeks and 20 to 25 weeks.
Yeah. I hate to say this because I want to be that health proponent, right? I want to be that podcast that talks about health and shit. But I think the reality is if you're in bodybuilding to compete and win, there's no short cycles. No guys do short cycles. Short cycles don't exist. Yeah. And the purpose of the health phase is simply to regulate your blood work and make sure everything is
that was my next advice, which was possible. Yeah, get blood work and check your fucking estradiol. Your estrogen, because a lot of you convert and you don't use AIs, and you guys use stupid shit like Nolvadex or Proviron. You need an AI. And the best AI is Aromacin because it kills the receptors. It doesn't occupy them or block them the way Arimidex does. With Arimidex, you will experience a rebound. You will not experience a rebound with Aromacin, which is exemestane. So switch to Aromacin, get your blood work, make sure your estrogen is in range. And yeah, that's my advice.
I realize I need to say a disclaimer because what I said last wasn't 1000% true. if you're running some cycles like Anadrol and shit, that does need a timer. Like you can't run Anadrol year round all the time.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, there's certain extra compounds on top. Right.
I don't think I've run Anadrol except twice in my life.
Yeah, I just mean if it's like a base growing phase, like if the base thing, like test and primo, for example, or test and mastron, or test and EQ, or test and NPP, or whatever. Any of these things, you can run it for the duration of your off season for as long as your blood work is in a good place.
Correct.
Until your blood work looks a little bit suspicious or anything, which I know is a little bit hard for some people to determine if they're not very highly knowledgeable about it right now. But then maybe I should start talking more about like where blood work markers look too out of range that you need to start.
So basically, watch your hemocrats, your blood thickness, basically. As long as those, I think those are one of the most important things. Give blood every 6 weeks. If you're on something like equipoise or one of those,
I have a pushback to that. So what my doctor tells me to do is you actually do not have to give blood until both the hematocrit and until the hematocrit's above a certain range. And I think I wrote it down in my notes. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And so some people that measure rises at a different range. So if you're someone who it doesn't rise very fast, even if you're on EQ, then you don't want to give blood before it's ready.
So I'm the type that mine rises.
Okay. So phlebotomy is a must at hemoglobin above 18, hematocrit above 55. I need to see what the actual...
Let me see mine. I sent it to Greg Doucette. Greg. Okay, there we go.
Gregging my Doucette.
Yeah.
I'm Doucetting my Greg.
So yeah, my hemoglobin is 166, which was great.
Hemoglobin's 166. I wonder what measurements. I need to understand what units better.
Didn't you just say one? How much did you say? You said 100.
I said
something?
Hemoglobin above 18.
18. Okay, so that's like
16. I didn't know what units.
It's like 16.
Okay, yeah.
So mine is 16.6.
Okay. What are the units for that again? I'm so dumb. Hematocrit.
And what was the range?
Above 55. Good blood.
Okay, so I'm 50.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, if you're slightly below that, I think it's okay, but normally he says it's not a big problem. If you are flying and traveling a lot, that's where it gets a little bit more important.
Exactly. Yeah, because then you can clot while on a flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, the other values you guys should, I mean, people will learn over time, like when is a good time. If you have a coach, they'll normally be like, oh, this looks kind of bad, so we should take a health phase. So most coaches that are good. Patrick does that. Mr. Latouf Atala says, man, there's nothing to ask. Just want to say this is the best comeback in bodybuilding history. Nice.
I will take that. I would say Jay Cutler had a better comeback, but this is also great.
Oh, you already did this. Muhammad said, when will the dad cycle update in terms of dosages? I think you just updated it.
Maybe there's dad cycle plus.
Right. Rambo89 asks, well, he says, yes, he's back first. And then he asks, please ask him how he manages the fatigue at the end of prep.
We already spoke about that. I didn't really, my problem was my problem was the sleep.
Right. But I'm assuming like cardio wise, what did you do? Did you ever tone down the cardio a little bit?
I increased my cardio the last week because I needed to make weight.
Of what type of cardio?
I do Stairmaster, speed 7 to 9, 20 minutes, and then I upped it to 30.
Oh, okay. That's not too long.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that do an hour to 2 hours, which is insane.
Well, an hour, then that would be treadmill, right?
Yeah. Definitely don't want to do Stairmaster for that long, especially close to show. Get your legs all inflamed. Cool. I guess I'm just curious about asking about sleep because I've been very concerned with sleep recently, talking to Dr. Dean and trying to get on top of my own sleep. And bro, I literally just paid $5,000 today. I guess the last appointment and went there and finally got what I paid $5,000 for. Sleep clinic. I got my fucking UARS mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Upper airway
so they can
resistance
see your
syndrome.
breathing.
It actually pops my jaw forward, so that way it opens up the airway when I am resting and when I'm asleep, so that I can breathe properly.
Do you
and I got some.
Do you have a
extra
sleep apnea
nasal strips
machine?
and shit.
Do you use that?
So I stop breathing 3 out of the 5 times required for sleep apnea. And there's people who stop breathing like 100 times, right? You got to stop breathing for about 10 seconds. The people who stop breathing like fucking 100 times, there's like, it's fucking crazy. It's serious, you know? These people are literally dying inside every day.
Okay, that's funny because I just bought a sleep when I started my sleep apnea machine, I just bought it off Amazon. I didn't go to a sleep clinic.
Sick.
I was like, I'm waking myself up snoring. That's not normal. I don't need a doctor to tell me that's not normal.
Okay,
I know that's not normal.
I'm not waking myself up snoring. I am waking up, and I'm not very, very asleep. And I don't know why it is. And according to him, it's upper airway resistance syndrome, which is something that I've had as a kid. I've always had loud nasal breathing, no matter where I am.
And does sleep apnea help with that?
No, you mean like sleep apnea treatment?
Yeah,
so
like the machine.
So on the forms, there's 2 different types of sleep apnea treatment. However, according to the doctor, he doesn't call this a sleep apnea treatment. He calls it a UARS treatment. But on the form that I got, it says there's CPAP, and then there's
I use a CPAP.
There's oral application, like oral mouthpiece or whatever.
Okay, I use a CPAP.
Yeah, I got the oral application, the mouthpiece, because I don't need the actual machine to, help me breathe. I just need this thing to help open up my airways, so I don't because it causes this resistance breathing where my breathing slows down, and it doesn't stop me breathing, which is what the sleep apnea really is. Yeah. Instead, it just causes so much resistance that my body has to wake up in order for it to breathe properly. It's causing me to not be able to sleep, basically. So I'm sleeping I'm in bed for the last paper I had for the last night that I had before I got this fucking goddamn ocular migraine yesterday. I was in bed for 10 hours and 17 minutes, but I got 6 hours total of actual sleep. So I have to be I have to be in bed for 10 hours in order for me to get fucking 6 or 7 hours or even maybe 7.5 hours of actual normal sleep. And it's just fucking ridiculous at this point. Whoa. I'm wasting time.
Don't use, a lot of people make the mistake of using melatonin.
No, I didn't use melatonin for the longest time. And now I've experimented with on and off of it, so I'm okay.
I'm guessing you tried GABA as well and all these things.
GABA, melatonin, magnesium, L-tryptophan, vitamin B5 and B6 to help convert that L-tryptophan, methylfolate because of the concerns that I might be that third of the population that doesn't methylate properly, and then ashwagandha if I feel stressed, and then I think I said it all.
Yeah.
The last resort is the sleep aid. If I really can't sleep and I know that I won't be able to sleep, I'll take a half or a quarter of the sleep aid, which is Dopamine succinate. The thiamine. I don't know. I don't fucking know how to say it. It's basically a NyQuil as well. It's I
use NyQuil too sometimes.
It's an antihistamine that
also helps refreshing your clen receptors.
Wait, what does?
It refreshes your clenbuterol receptors.
NyQuil, or this thing?
Yeah. Well, it's the antihistamine, Benadryl.
Shit. Cool. I didn't know that. That's
I actually have it when I coach people when they're on clen every week. They have to use that for 2 days.
So I should start taking clen then.
It refreshes the receptors.
I just started MyRB, which is also a fat burning that isn't a stimulant.
PP332.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a new research chemical that people are discussing that just it increases fat burning by a very small percentage. And SLU is and then myrobigerin is originally for bladder control. It releases the muscles in your bladder. I think it's a beta 3, which is also a fat burning.
Does that make me pee or less pee?
Pee less. So
I have a problem waking up in the night to pee.
Yeah, right. And one, that could be partly either our bladder, or two, it could also be the fact that we literally have these breathing problems that are waking us up, and it eliminates that. I don't know if it's a hormone or whatever, but it's the signal that basically shuts off.
Interesting, because when I would take
The bladder.
Valium, that's when I would be in such deep sleep and I don't wake up to pee.
Nice. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It a lot of times it has to do with your actual sleep quality. If it's just not great, then you end up feeling the urge.
Well, yeah, my sleep quality is trash right now. So, but it's getting better. It's getting better after I started eating.
Imagine if you're taking Tren right now.
Oh,
And that just makes things even juicier.
Never. No. I stopped that shit in 2018.
All right. Himio asks, what is your plan for Mr. Olympia?
So at first, again, I was going in with a very defeated attitude. So I was like, I'm gonna place last. I know it. So let's just go and have fun. But then I realized, you know what? I didn't think I was gonna win a pro show, and then it fucking happened. So I've changed my attitude 2 days ago, and I said, fuck that. I am going to do everything I humanly possibly can to make the top 10. I will bring my legs up. I will train them every third day if I have to, or train hamstrings every third day and quads every third day. So I'll give them their own full workouts. I won't train upper body except maybe back once a week. I don't need delts. I don't need shoulders. And even if they shrink, it's fine. I'll pump them up. I don't need chest and shoulders and arms. Even if they shrink a little bit, I'll pump them up backstage. But I need to keep my back because my back is the wow factor. When I come up on stage and I do that front lat spread and the back double bicep, that's where I see the judges like, oh, holy shit. And it's like not classic. It doesn't look like classic, but it's like I want to compare him to the other guys.
How did you see the judges react to that? Like on a video or something?
No, like in person. When I do the front lat spread, like I can see their face expression, like they, taking notes or some shit,
Okay, yeah.
And then when I look at the video, my back double biceps just looks retarded. Like that, I can say that comfortably.
It looks fucking sick, bro.
Yeah, my back double biceps.
Glad you posted.
Yeah, even when I went and had judges' feedback, he specifically said your back double biceps is amazing. You don't have to do anything there.
Nice.
But he said that I need to bring my hamstrings and glutes up.
Yep.
And that will improve my side shot. So my back shot is already top. My abs and thigh shot is really good. I do it in a very unique way where I show my obliques.
Yeah, the old school 212 way.
Yeah.
With your sick ass fucking
that's good.
ab pics.
But I do need to bring my legs a little bit up and my hamstrings, and I'm going to be doing that. And I'm going to start wearing a corset for my waist. I'm going to start practicing vacuum more every single day. And I'm going to just give everything I can for this prep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
I'm excited too. Yeah.
I'm going to try to come to Olympia and come watch.
You have to.
I want to real bad. I have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Yoked Rooster, fucking sick, asks, would there be insulin sensitivity benefit to running GH 4 to 5 times a week rather than every day?
Not really. I mean, if you're having it on an empty stomach without carbs, you won't have any issues. So no.
Who was I speaking to recently? I was speaking to someone recently. Fuck. Oh, it was Vigorous Steve. So I discussed with Vigorous Steve Patrick Torres' perspective on GH. And Patrick says that you can have it when your insulin is up, and it raises your IGF-1 higher.
Yeah,
it's
correct.
actually more beneficial for
true.
muscle. But
That's
Patrick
true.
says that normally this also has a bigger negative effect on your insulin resistance long term. So
Correct.
Patrick likes to only do it some of the time. So I think like every other time, for example, he'll do that, and then the other time is on a fasted time.
I would argue do that on leg day.
Okay, yeah, and then
So have your GH with carbs.
Yeah,
it will increase IGF-1. But it long term it will affect your insulin sensitivity. But if you're having GH empty stomach, no carbs, it will not affect your insulin sensitivity, even if you're having it every day. It's only when you have it with food.
Yeah, I talked to Steve honestly said something that was kind of surprising to me. He's like, bro, the effect of the insulin resistance on you is so negligible. The fact that you're going to prep and cut down anyways is like, bro, like think about like, do you ever get into, and then he talked about his A1C and he talked about another marker, and he basically just said like,
it's negligible.
Insulin
basically.
resistance is negligible if you're on your program and you're doing your fasted cardio every day, and if you're just doing what all bodybuilders do, like prep wise, being on top of their cardio, eating proper foods like they should be, the insulin resistance is never going to be a problem for you. Unless you're some freaking genetic
I think it's because the stigma is that if you take GH with your carbs, your body will not produce insulin at all. But that was, I think, the old school mentality back in Egypt, maybe, or the Middle East.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Your body will still produce insulin.
If you feel like any of the medications that we spoke about today may benefit you, such as BPC 157, GH secretagogues such as Tesamorelin, IGF1, oxandrolone troche, Semaglutide, then you can obtain these from Transcend HRT, and the link for that will be in the bio. If you feel like you're experiencing symptoms of low testosterone, such as depression, anxiety, lack of motivation, as well as lack of sex drive, then you can get this checked out as well by getting your blood work done at Transcend, and they will provide you expert medical analysis. Transcend HRT has worked with many professional bodybuilders and pro athletes such as Thor Bjornsson, Phil Heath, and Jeremy Buendia. And if you feel like this podcast has any relevancy to you, I do believe that this clinic will provide of great benefit to you as well. AMR Fox 1 asks, how does your religion play a role in your life, and is it important?
I strongly believe in, I have a very strong connection with God. I don't like to discuss my religious views in public anymore. People react to it if it's slightly different to their beliefs, even if it's the same religion, right? So I was born a Muslim. Let's say if I do one thing differently, I've experienced an insane backlash that I didn't even understand. Like, I was like, what's going on? Like, why? I don't understand. Why are you upset? And it's like, because it's supposed to be like that. I'm like, but that's my connection with God. Like, that's a very personal thing.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. So I honestly, without exaggeration, like, I feel like I'm able to talk to God. I have a connection with him. I feel that most, quote unquote, religious people don't have as strong of a connection. Like, religion to me is very spiritual, and even like some of the dreams that I've had a dream a week before Alabama. And I swear to God, that's true. I had a dream that I was looking at the scorecards and I saw my name in first place.
Oh my God.
And then I kind of woke up, like, when you wake up and then fall back asleep. Like, I woke up right after that scene and I said out loud to myself, I said, holy shit, I'm going to win this. And then I fell back asleep. And then I woke up and I didn't tell anyone. Usually I tell my mom that I had a dream about this or that. I kept this so close to my chest. And then every problem that would happen, like, let's say with the tanning color, with the weight, going to US and worrying about the war and everything, every time any thought would come up, I would repeatedly say in such a calm demeanor, everything will fall into place because of that dream. And I just wholeheartedly knew, like, I know I said on the Dave interview and I told you I didn't really expect to win. Like, I really didn't, but there was still that very calm sense that if God wants me to win this, or if it's destined to happen, it will fucking happen regardless of what circumstance is going on. And the tan was like, I did the tanning myself. We did the base color. It was good. But then the next day, I think I had a reaction with my skin. And that was like 3 hours from prejudging. And we were like freaking out over there. And I said, just relax. Everything will fall into place. Let me have my breakfast meal. We're going to go backstage at 7:30 in the morning. And we're going to connect with the tanning people over there. I have cash on me. I'm just going to tell them, listen, I have $200 in cash. Please just take care of my tan all over again. I'm sorry I did this on my own. I've never tried this company before. I didn't want to take risks. Everything fell into place, bro. So yeah, I think I have a good connection with God, but in terms of religion itself, that's something that I don't like talking about because, yeah, I don't want to trigger anyone. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Maze Nova asks, he says, Mashallah, when proud of him in Egypt.
Nice. That's good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you guys.
Miguel Mont 19 asks, what age did you start taking gear and what was the cycle you first ever took?
24 years old. It was me and my best friend. We started 400 milligrams of test and 400 milligrams of primobolan. After 6 weeks, we barely saw any differences. And I even remember vividly the scene where we're in the gym, we're doing shoulders, and I just look at him like, are you feeling anything? Like, do you feel anything's different? And he's like, not really. I'm like, bro, let's fucking bump this shit up, man. Let's do 750. And I went to 750. I switched the primobolan to equipoise at 400, and then I added anadrol for 4 weeks at 50 milligrams a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But hold on. This was like my first injectable cycle. Few months prior to that, I did 6 weeks of Anavar just to see how I'd react.
And how'd you react?
I got leaner. I got a little bit more muscular and veiny. My pumps were better, but not other than that, not much.
Okay. Wow. That's fucking sick. I think you and I started our first injections around the same time.
Same time, 24 years old?
Yeah, my first injection of testosterone was around that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got my pro card around 22, 23 years old, and then it took me about half a year to a year to start injecting.
I remember. It was, I think it was my 23rd or 24th birthday. It was on my birthday I started.
No way.
I took my first shot on my birthday. Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, and I remember going to the pharmacy. I go into the pharmacy because I didn't know how to take the injection. And I bought a vial of test and primo, and I told the guy, please give this shot to me. Took me to the back, pants down in my glutes.
Like a dude you knew, like a homie.
Yeah. And then I was on my way to college, to class, and I remember in the car I was like, because I was all scared and shit. I was I thought steroids is gonna make me go crazy. I'm just gonna start raging with everyone. And I was like, it's okay. I remember driving. I was like, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. This is what you want to do. You're gonna be fine. I remember that very well. It was my birthday. Yeah.
That's fucking lit, bro. That's
funny. Yeah.
I fucking love having this podcast. I had this dude. I was like, I'm so thankful for you and Vigorous Steve. You guys got me to start my first cycle after 23 years. I think he started at 20, 23 years old.
That's not bad. 23 is not bad.
What does a leg day look like in Durrah's routine? Exercises, sets, reps.
Depends. So I have hamstring focus days, and then I have just quad days, for example. So let's say a quad day, just quads. I would do 5 sets of leg extensions. 5 to 6 sets of belt squats. 5 sets of leg presses that consists of a double set, like a superset of the so it's 10 sets. So it's 15 reps close stance, superset with another 15 reps wide stance. And then I finish off with another 4 sets of walking lunges. And then I do 3 sets of single leg extensions. And then I do 4 sets of inner thigh machine. So that's quad day.
Okay.
Leg day.
Inner thigh machine is my favorite.
Yeah, leg day, I will do, today, for example, was hamstrings focused. I would start with calves. I would then do glute kickbacks. I would then do standing hamstring curls, 4 sets, seated hamstring curls, 4 sets, inner thigh machine superset with the adductor with the abductor, 4 sets of that, and then I'd switch to 4 sets leg extensions, 6 sets belt squats, and then 4 sets of either walking lunges or leg press.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I hate walking lunges with a fucking passion.
Yeah, but
Fucking
they're necessary, bro. They build legs.
They're good. Yeah. Legs and ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to do more ass shit, bro.
You have really good glutes.
I gotta do more butt stuff.
But you got really good glutes.
I just have striated glutes, but I don't think
They're
they're big.
insane.
They're not big though.
Like I would see them and I'd be like,
Thanks,
what
bro.
the fuck?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You know what's the worst thing though is like as I grew bigger and I think I started doing more injections, it started to be just the left. Like the right one isn't as striated anymore. I think it's too much scar tissue.
You know what? That's actually one of the reasons also why I kept my cycle small.
Okay.
I only shoot on my delts.
Okay. Yeah.
I am never touching glutes again, ever.
I heard a lot of big guys talking about avoiding the glutes recently too. Ian was also talking about that, I think.
Bro, I think that caused a lot of nerve damage and back issues for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I am now only just now, bro, I've injected my lats like 1,000 times and
lats are fine.
What?
Yeah. What do you
Ian
inject?
and some of the other bros were talking about how
so if back then when I do Winstrol, I would inject my lats with Winstrol and it was like butter. It was like so easy. But I've never injected oil in my lats. I can imagine that would be very painful.
I inject everything normally in shoulders, delts, and glutes. Shoulders, lats, and glutes.
Yeah, me front, side, rear.
Front?
That's it.
You can inject in the front?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I feel like it's
But I have big delts. Like
yeah.
It's very meaty.
I have big rear and mid, and the rear is always the easiest for me. Or the rear is the least painful, the least amount of nerves I hit.
Yeah. So when I have a lot of veins here, but what I do,
you got fucking bro. It's a spider web.
Like, yeah, it's spider web. So what I do
fuck
is
do you inject that?
I'll find the spot with no vein, right? Like between the veins.
Oh my god!
So I'd have to put the needle pin first. Like I wouldn't go from afar and shoot. Yeah. I'd have to place it and then jab it in.
Oh my god! I need to start doing that.
It's smart, isn't it? It's the same, bro. It's the same thing because when you let's say you find a spot and it's like, okay, there's no veins here. I swear to God, when you do the far thing, it will hit the vein. It will leave everything else and it will hit the vein.
How have I never ever thought about doing this?
Every time.
I don't know,
every time. Every time I'm like, all right, okay, here it is. Okay, away from it, in the vein, right away in the vein.
There's like days where like normally I'm just totally chilling, but there are like maybe a couple days in the month or something where I'll just be extra anxious about where I'm going to inject because I'm so fucking sick and tired of hitting a nerve or like a fucking vein, and then it just that I'm aiming and I'm like, don't fucking hit one,
and you hit it.
I come out. And then I stab it and it moves an inch over and then I hit like the biggest vein. Oh, bro. Yeah. And I am like punching walls for the next like 3 hours. I'm so fucking
always. So I'm like, fuck this. God. I am going to just place it and then push it in.
Okay. I'll start doing that. Oh, jeez. Hart Coughlin says, so excited for this last podcast with you on your channel. Was the best ever. Oh,
nice.
His last podcast.
Let's awesome.
Go. There's so many questions, man. I know
we gotta pick one more.
Okay. All right. Deal. I'm sorry, guys. I've been really bad about Q&As recently. I need to do them earlier. I know I do. I know. We got to pick the best one then.
Pick anything personal that would I guess that would be more fitting. I think we gave a lot of bodybuilding info.
Yeah. I can't believe you started with Primo for your first cycle. That's crazy.
That was gay.
That was gay. It's the gayest thing you could have ever done.
You know,
Oh, this is a personal question real quick, but you didn't use any insulin at all?
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay. I feel like it would only make you heavier and bigger.
Fuck no, bro. Makes your waist bigger, makes you age. The most thing it does is make you forget the waist and forget the side effect. It makes you age so much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was getting skin tags that one time I used it.
Damn. Fuck.
I had to go to a laser clinic. Like I had to laser like 5 off.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
5. I swear to God, it will all come in my eyes, on my eyelids. And then I chat GPT'd. Why am I getting like it knows everything, right? And like everything I'm doing. And I'm like, why am I getting these skin tags? And it said it's the insulin.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna just pick one. Okay. Ash Kettle asks, what are your thoughts on the prize money differences between the divisions?
I think that Classic should be second in prize money. I'm not sure if 212 still is, but the Dubai Pro just took place.
I'm pretty sure second is Classic is second.
Okay, so
I think I think the 212 was the smallest.
Smallest. Okay.
At Dubai.
Yeah, it was like 40K.
Yeah.
It was 40K.
Yeah.
Classic was 70.
Yeah, it looks so fucking sick. He deserved more.
And Open was 140. So my thoughts is, I think Classic now is the most popular division in terms of social media.
In terms of social media, yeah.
Like everyone wants to be a Classic bodybuilder.
Yeah, for sure.
No one wants to be Open, but the Open sells more tickets at the Olympia and usually at shows because people like to see the freaks. It's like a circus, right? I mean, it is, bro. You see what they look like. So I can understand the justification of Open being bringing in more money, but then for visibility and ads and everything, like growing the sport, I think Classic is what's bringing in more people into bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I still think Open should be more, but I think the gap should close a lot more. So like, let's say if Open is 500K,
yeah,
Classic should be easily 400K.
Okay. Just to give a little bit one of those cynical viewpoints, because we got a lot of cynicism in this world, but what are your thoughts though if say, you know, we owned the IFBB and we felt like Classic already brings in a lot of audience, especially because of Chris. What is the purpose of us raising the money if we already know that the greatest pull of people desiring to be in the competitions is for the Classic division?
That's a very interesting perspective. That is a very new way of seeing. Like I didn't think of that. So that question kind of caught me by surprise. Why would we increase it if we're already getting more fans? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a much deeper level to that. But I would say maybe more bigger checks for Classic bodybuilders will enable them to use the money to even furthermore promote their social media, hire more cameramen, compete in more shows. Competing in more shows means more people.
Yeah.
But if you're giving people small checks, they're not gonna, like, I know a guy who competed recently, and I asked if he's gonna do Alabama, and he said he didn't have the finances for it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So if anything,
how? As a pro?
Yeah.
How does he not have you, because you pay for your pro card and then that's it?
He just doesn't, he can't finance himself traveling and all that shit.
I see.
It's pro. Every show costs about $4,000 to $5,000 with the travels. What? Well, okay, I fly business, but with economy,
fuck you, bro. You don't count, man. It's just 6 figures a month.
I have to just a little
fuck
bit.
Up.
But but even with economy, you're paying, because I'm thinking 2 people. Okay. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I'm thinking business flights for 2 people. Back and forth. So my numbers are way off. I guess for one person, it's like maybe $1,000 for a plane ticket. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully if you're still in America and you're not traveling internationally, then
be like but let's say $1,000
for a round trip,
and then the tanning, the hotel's like what, 3 days?
It's probably a little bit over 1,000, yeah.
Okay. And the hotel, I stay in the different hotel from the host hotel, so I guess my numbers again are way off. The host hotel is usually $120 a night, so that's okay. Oh. It was brought down from $5K to now like $1,500.
You make a good point, though. Yeah, like I feel like it would be good to help fund the people that are winning classic shows.
Help fund the people to compete more, and like when they have more money, they'll probably create more content, more visibility.
Mm-hmm.
No one really likes. I don't think anyone likes watching anything about open bodybuilding, except looking at them in person and in pictures, just to kind of like see that freakish,
Yeah.
But in terms of lifestyle and all that, bro, it's honestly, I think it's disgusting. Like the amount of what kind of how can you eat 6,000 calories every day for like years?
Yeah. No, open is insane. That's why it's so cool, though, bro. That's why I'm a fucking classic competitor, and I just fucking love open too, though, because it's just insane. Yeah. Fucking nuts.
Believe it or not, like yeah, I mean, I only see the results and I just see like who won. And I just see what he looks like, and then you have like exceptions like that Neckzilla guy.
Jesus Christ!
You know what I'm talking about?
Bro has tumors on his legs.
Yeah, he looks. It looks all wrong.
I saw. Come on, he looks sick. It looks
wrong. Look like as like that doesn't look like a human being.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a human.
It looks like a crossbreed, a genetic crossbreed, and made in a lab between a cow and a human being.
Imagine if he had Tom Platt separation.
I don't think he can even get that separation. I think because like at one point the muscles start overlapping each other. Maybe.
I don't know what's really going on either.
Yeah,
I could make all the speculations in the world, but they'll never be right. They'll just be assumptions.
If course, it's all bro speculation.
Like, oil, insulin. I don't know, but it's probably not even true. It's probably just genetics. So, if anyone in the audience has any pushback or any ideas that came to them regarding this whole like money situation, I'd be interested to hearing it in the YouTube comments. The one thing I do have to say though is the men's physique does. I'm pretty sure I heard that men's physique still has the greatest number of amateurs competing, greatest number of amateurs paying.
So I made a video about that too on my English channel. I explained that and I said men's physique has the most athletes, which means it has the most audiences because each of the athletes has his wife or his girlfriend and his parents and his cousins and whoever of his friends. They come watch the show. So every athlete brings about maybe 3 to 8 people to a show.
I think that's just in the NPC though.
I think it's in the Pro League. Is it? Yeah, bro. I'm not like, it's in the Pro Leagues too, bro.
God damn it. I think you're right. Whenever I go to classes, like, bro, the last show I was at, I think the classic class was like 10, 11 guys, and the men's physique is always closer to 20.
Always 20 in the pros, and the amateurs 30. Is like fucking 40 or some shit.
The amateurs, you said?
Yeah.
40.
Do you know how many classic competitors are there this year's Mr. Olympia?
How many?
So far.
How many? I don't know.
46.
Classic competitors total.
So far. The season isn't over.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I know people are talking about reducing someone was talking about reducing the number of people that are qualifying for the O, so there's less competitors at the O, but I'm just like,
I don't know if you they already removed the scoring system.
Yeah, I know. What else do you want?
So now it's like every pro show winner goes.
Right.
So the next option would be reduce the pro shows.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Or, be smart, money-making machine. 2 different Olympias.
Oh, that's never gonna happen. 2 different Olympias.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's never
one
gonna
for.
happen.
Listen to this.
The Arnold's coming close enough.
Listen to this. 1 for men and 1 for women.
The women's gonna be so small compared.
That's
to
not
the
our
men's, bro.
problem. I mean, WNBA has its own championship.
Won't that like literally do nothing? Because I mean, you have all the men and the women
Who
coming to the same place anyways. Same
That's
amount
up
of
to the
tickets.
audience. That's up to the audience. You don't want to go, don't go.
I feel like that's going to make a smaller pool. Oh, well, I see what you're saying, like trying to drag.
No, because you
people that
remove
are-
all the women, bro. You're removing all the bikini that are like 100 or something in every show. Okay? You remove bikini, women's figure, women's fitness, women's physique, women's bodybuilding, women's wellness. There's 6 categories.
There's a lot.
Give them their own Olympia. Give us men. We got the Open, Classic, 212, Physique. Thank you very much. This should happen. This is an amazing idea. I love it. I love it.
All right. Okay. I ask everyone at the end the same question that I asked you twice already.
Yeah.
If you were to disappear from the world tomorrow and you had one message you could send to the entire world today, what would the message be?
So my message might have changed a little bit. If you think the price of going for it might be too risky and expensive, wait till you see the price of staying exactly where you are. Go for it, and go for it with faith in God, and you will be surprised what is in store for you.
That's awesome, bro. Sick, dude. Mahmood Al
Yeah.
Durrah.
You got it right.
Is that the same place everyone else can find you?
My Instagram, the Durrah, my English YouTube, the Durrah. Guys, please give me a follow. It's fucking brutal to grow an audience on YouTube. Jeez,
It's brutal, man. Oh, and stick to the vlogs, because if you do it my way, where you blow up on YouTube by doing crazy videos like Jesse James West and a bunch of other shit, and then you start doing vlogs.
The last vlog that I did for Alabama Pro and the Toronto Pro, they're fucking sick. Guys, go watch it. A lot of detail in there with the diazide and everything and the Carb-Up. And I'll send you the clip where my son is like, go dad.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah. Send me that.
You're gonna love that. That's gonna make you want to have kids.
Oh, well, I mean, I kind of already do, but
Oh, that's gonna that's gonna be like, all right, we gotta, babe, we gotta wrap this up.
No, not right now. Oh shit. Let me get to Olympia once first, all right?
Yeah.
Once.
Okay.
Just once.
That would be
That's
nice.
all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on, bro. That was fucking sick.
Awesome as always, my man, and hope to see you in always good shape and good faith.
Thanks, bro. Same with you. Super fucking happy for you and excited to see you at Olympia.
Appreciate it, my brother. Take care.
All right. You too, bro. Get some rest
Cheers.
tonight. Hopefully, for once.
Yeah. No Valium tonight.
Later, bro.